let's start with a short introduction first. So we go. No, we don't go by the. We don't go by the photos. We go by from the middle to the outside. So we start with Dörte, please.
Okay, thank you.
Dörte Wittenberg.
Is it on? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, it's.
Okay. Dörte Wittenberg, I'm working as a management consultant and I'm helping companies to create their own individual path through digital transformation.
Judith.
Judith Will. I'm responsible for knowledge management and collaborative tools within BNP Paribas Cardif, insurance branch of the BNP Paribas Group.
Hi everyone, my name is Jean-François Duroch. I work for an engineering company called Technip. My job is an innovation manager for this company, and I was involved with digital as part of my job.
Hello, François-Régis. I'm working with ATOS International, working on several digital transformation initiatives, mostly zero email, social collaboration, on social business center. So interesting stuff to share with you.
Louis-Pierre Guillaume. I am the Knowledge Management Officer of Schneider-Electric, leading a team of 3 people in innovative things about communities of practice, in encyclopedias and so on.
Hi there, I'm David Terrar from Agile Elephant. We're a consultancy that tries to help companies make sense of this digital transformation topic. And you've just heard that we partner with LECO to extend their research over into the UK. We also partner with Congress Media to run the equivalent of this conference, the Enterprise Digital Summit in London. Next one, November 24th.
Okay, so what I wanted to discuss at this point, we heard a lot of research now that we heard from Jane that we have to change the focus of coming from internal intranet approaches and social collaboration towards a more digital transformation approach, to a more organization development approach with digital. So my first question would be also to the practitioners, but also to the consultants on this panel. What do you see, or where do you see in your projects also, what's the link between the digital transformation efforts and the social collaboration efforts? So your projects are very different. So Louis-Pierre, your project is mainly driven from the knowledge management focus. Jean-François, yours is mainly from the innovation focus. Yours at ATOS is mainly driven from a community-driven and engagement focus, and yours is also knowledge management approach. So, but are there already some links, or are we still internally driven? Because this was also my question to Jane before. Are we still posing the right question? Because if we think about the digital transformation and the substantial change we want to achieve, we might always include the external, but not just the internal focus. So, and the digital transformation normally is more from the outside coming. So, but what are your thoughts on this? Maybe we start with you 4 first, and then also with the consultants.
I start first?
Yes.
Okay. So, our opinion in my group is that the people are at the center of this transformation. Started with this notion of social, and now it's a digital transformation. And we, to make the link between internal and outside, we have several levers, I would say, the communities of practice, which is beyond just using tools to exchange, but also people exchanging with others, helping solving business problems and customer problems as well through the communities of people sharing the same types of roles of work, working for segments of a business or for R&D. And we also are, let's say, thinking that now it goes back to what was said about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and so on, is how to find people to help others. And usually starting finding the experts, people who know, that can help me solve a client's issue. And for this, it's the notion of social, notion of digital transformation can work only if we put the people in the center of this transformation.
So digital is very much also the idea of really advancing the evolution of the company. What are the what is the positioning of these different projects in your companies?
I would say that we had a digital transformation project or approach globally for the company, which was bigger than the efforts that we are doing on collaboration, communities, and social network, because they also addressed what you just said, like how are we interacting with our customers, how are we interacting with our clients, how are we providing our products, but also about all the internal processes. So I think the digital transformation is even bigger because it's really including all the aspects of the value chain of the company. And then we are part of this, actually. Part of, I would say it's more like a work stream that you have inside with collaborative platforms and communities.
Is your project positioned internally as the enabler for the internal change for this digital transformation?
I think it's not officially, but unofficially, yes. Because I think we are helping people to work differently. And this is when they can engage afterwards to be more digital in their daily work because they need the tools and the help also. They need to know how they can work with it. And what we figured out is that people sometimes are already struggling with the basics, I would say, to get the digital transformation because they're still stuck sometimes in my email account is not sending out emails bigger than 6 megabytes, so how am I going to handle that? And I think this is also an issue that we can address to help them to think about the tools that they can use in order to be more digital in all their daily work.
So when you say not officially, then this is also meant that this is not really on the strategic agenda planning that we have to have an initiative to help the people change their way they're working for the digital transformation.
I think they strategically they had all the work streams, but then I think it's the teams that are taking over. They had strategically the global transformation plan for the whole company, and then we have one part of it, I would say.
Jean-François.
Well, I would say that in my organization, we are not as mature as you could expect if you would like to go outside. So the mainly focus would be to use the social network or social digital transformation towards the internal use. For my own interest, the business driver behind deploying this social network was essentially because I depend from the R&D department or organization, we have a lot of exchanges to do with the various business units we have across the world. And through those exchanges, we define our future projects to develop. So the key point in the social network is that it's an enabler to do that. Also, we have a role to, as experts, to support a business unit in debugging or solving the critical immediate issues. So a social network allows people to connect very quickly. In a matter of 24 hours, you find an expert across the group that knows something about a particular subject that you would never imagine you would have this kind of expertise in the company.
So your social project or social initiative, because we don't talk about projects anymore, so your social initiative would be, if we try to differentiate, for me, it sounds like it's more connected to solving business problems than to the evolving the digital initiative within the company.
That was a driver at the beginning. That was the horse of Troy, if you want, to make this happen in the company. You had to propose already some objectives to the ExCom. Why do you want to do that? So that was the thing. Then the ExCom jumped on it and see it as an opportunity to start learning about what is a digital transformation.
François.
I fully agree. It's really important. Social collaboration is really the catalyst on the mandatory pillar to start this digital revolution within the organization, because it's help and liberate a lot of initiative inside the organization. Then you can open the window to the outside world to start communities with our key customers, with our key clients. It changes everything with our relationship with our customers. So it's really important to have first this social collaboration inside as a strong catalyst, and after you can accelerate all your digital initiative within the organization.
The question for me is whether we need a digital transformation, a strategic digital transformation program on top to justify this catalyst move.
Not necessarily. No, it's not. It's something becoming after, because we also learn from our experience, so we need to evolve. We test a lot of separate things on initiatives. Sometimes we fail, sometimes we will start with another one. So it's really important to first open the opportunity for all employees to collaborate inside many communities, transversally open with 8,000 communities within ATOS. We leverage a lot of ideation, innovation things. A lot of them don't have any solution at the end, but it works better, and you can after accelerate all digital initiative on pick up on leverage on budget to at the end have something stronger. So, but without social collaboration, we will not succeed the digital transfer, for sure.
I would like to add the fact that if you ask an organization to set up some strategic position about what is digital transformation, you will not manage to get this, at least in my organization, it's not the way it worked. You don't have we didn't have a will from the top management to change. You have to propose something, or you have to push something from a lower part of the organization and to show what is interesting. So you don't need, to answer your question, you don't need to have something coming from the top saying you have to do it.
Louis-Pierre?
I would say the opposite. And this is why. Because in my company, so Schneider-Electric, it's a big company, 160,000 people. And we knew that if the top didn't want to move, it wouldn't have moved at all. Because when you are in a business, you have your cash cost, so why change? Things are going fine, you make money out of the regular business, why would we change? So to entice the change, to shake, in fact, the managers of the company, the top management, we have big events once a year, and in 2012, we invited the famous CEO, ex-CEO of Nokia, who explained on stage what happened to him when the train hit his face and he lost his business. We also had interviews from, I think, Borders, which I think don't exist anymore. It was a former company selling, let's say, papers and staples. It was staples. And then that died because of Amazon. And the message was, if you don't want to be Amazoned ourselves, because it was not Uber yet, so it was to be Amazoned by this company selling stuff instead of us, we have to move now. And then it was the change. Now let's have a program, centrally, let's say, at least supervised, with initiatives, and a push and a push and a push to steer the mammoth this way, otherwise we will die.
Before getting into the discussion, we just keep your comments. So I want to involve also our two consultants on stage. So, no, starting with you, Dörte. So what is your opinion on, also from your backgrounds and from your projects, how to connect the digital transformation initiative with the social collaboration and organizational change initiative?
What I experience is that they could both exist, but they should move very, very close together. And what we are always trying to do first is to bring the people of these initiatives together to learn from each other. And in my experience, digital transformation could learn from social collaboration on how to work together more efficiently. And social collaboration sometimes can give some interesting technical impulses towards digital transformation. And the other way around, it is very important that digital transformation could set a focus on social collaboration, on which use cases to focus and which to prioritize. So this is a very good cooperation, but in reality it doesn't exist very often so far.
David.
I think what's clear from my point of view is that there's a lot of misunderstanding of what digital transformation really is, and a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon, and our organisations and the people in our organisations are getting bombarded with mail shot after mail shot about how to help you with the digital transformation project. So I think there's an issue there. I think the other problem we've got is that our organisations, and I've been talking about them this morning as dinosaurs, and actually we need to help the people inside the organisations and enable them to do stuff which the dinosaur can't do by itself. So really, to me, when it comes down to is digital transformation has to be thought of as an end-to-end thing across the whole of the organisation. François was right that we need social collaboration tools across the organisation to help enable the people. But most organisations are fighting against structures which don't let the employees within the organisation kind of put together their collective intelligence to take the company, the organisation forward. And in today's environment, you talk about Nokia with the 2-year environment. I was talking to Diane and Thomas Koch over coffee about how change is happening within 12 months. And the typical organisation just can't handle the idea of doing things within a 12-month time frame. We're talking about much longer term research and development to come out with new products than 12 months. But sadly, we have to find a solution to that problem because life is changing so fast.
But in the past, we were also always judging about the results of social collaboration initiatives. And actually, they are just there to enable some change, but they are not the driving force. That's what, in the result, are your comments on this?
And the problem we've got is that most of organisations have got, the smart organisations have actually, consolidated on one platform and are making huge efforts to get everyone involved in the enterprise social network or whatever it is, and to actually get the practices in place and to get digital literacy spread across the organisation. There are so many organisations where it's happening in pockets and silos, and we have too many digital silos in our organisations.
So it's just a learning environment for the organisation.
That's one of the factors. Is actually spreading the word. Jane was talking about how we all have to be leaders. Totally agree with that. It's got to come from all of us. Okay, it's great if you can get the guy or the gal at the top to actually set an edict, like a Grundfos does. Organisations like that can spread it across 45,000 employees. In many organisations, that's not possible. So we have to help as many of the employees as possible to start the movement.
Mm-hmm. Judith,
I think like what Louis-Pierre said is very true. I think you need a global push from top management because it's necessary to include them and that they have the will to do something about it. But I think also you have to be careful then afterwards to convince them that it's not done in 18 months. And I think this is the real issue also. Sometimes you're setting up the transformation plan and then they consider that it's done. And you have to convince them that it's not done, that it's not a project that you've concluded and you've deployed, but that it's an initiative. And you have to convince them and persuade them, why is your team there? Why is your team needed? Why is your team maybe too small to face all the questions and all the issues that the people have? And the people really need this help also. They cannot just understand a global program coming from top management and then change all their habits within 24 months. That's not working.
Before you bring up your comment, I just want to put something more into this. I'm just remembering a presentation by a colleague of Cheech and Louis from Cordelia Coast some years ago, where she had this evolutionary path for their project in adoption and establishment of the platform and then business transformation and in a later maturity stage. But what I see is certainly social collaboration and the initiative of social collaboration can never itself ignite the business transformation. The transformation must come from somewhere else, the impetus for doing the transformation process, isn't it right? It's just an enabler for change
I mean, it's just an enabler for change, and I think that we have to recognise that in all of our organisations that we need to change our mindset to a mindset of continuous reinvention, because new competitors are coming at us all the time. We have to be thinking all the time in terms of actually competing with ourselves and improving our business models, and there are lots of organisations that haven't got that yet.
Yes, and it brings a lot of new behaviors. It's really important because with social collaboration, we let the network do the work. It's not only about cognitive or about machine doing everything. It's also because people are connecting each other, and it works better than through only the siloed mailbox, something like that. So that's why it's important to let the network do the work and to have these new innovative ideas to bring this important digital transformation over all the business entities.
From the research, we also heard that a lot of well, especially from Jane's research, I always remember that substantial change can be seen in those cases where the driving forces are again customer-facing aspects or the issues. So can you resonate with that? Because a lot of social collaboration projects in the past were always driven just from the internal side. So providing a platform for better collaboration without a direct link to any social customer-facing activity at that point for the project.
We saw interesting things 2 years after implementing the first ESN on communities. People connect together with one purpose to share all their knowledge about one customer, one client, coming from many entities, many business units we have within ATOS, within the world. So everything about Airbus, everything about a bank. And then consulting, engineers, integration people share all their knowledge, and after they believe that, okay, now it's important also to have the similar communities open to our customer, open to clients. So we did some pilots with them according to their agreement to open the door to this collaboration mindset, and it works better than we imagine. So that's why we are implementing more and more with our partners, customer communities, to bridge these two worlds.
Louis-Pierre.
It can be so in terms of digital transformation, it's how your business model works. We were used to sell, let's say, to make it bluntly, products. And now products have to be connected, so it's the story of Internet of Things. So we have to connect each of them to the network, then connect to the cloud, then be able to provide some services to the clients, then be able to do some project that and that means that we have to connect the product that we sell to our systems to provide some service and so on. So which means that we have to have all the businesses, the countries, things differently how they sell and not sell anymore just a blank product, but to sell the complete suite. Which means that there are contradictory, let's say, injunctions, orders. You have to continue making money with the current business, where the new business is coming will replace or change the other one. So you have to reallocate people to the new business while keeping the existing one running. Of course, no overhead, no more headcounts, so you have to juggle between two. And this is quite difficult, and also you have the support from the top for this. Managers are left alone in how do I reallocate resources to achieve this transformation of digital for IoT. This is not an easy challenge for big companies like ours.
I would like to give you an example on the subject of social network or social collaboration can be an enabler to digital transformation. I have one example, nothing about the fact that we are engaging with external clients, but from the internal point of view. Over the last 4 months, I have animated through the social network a large innovation challenge. It was involving all the company, so a large communication about it. And this innovation challenge led to the production or to the identifications of new business model, new usage, new technologies for our pipeline, because we do pipelines. And one of the suggested new product or new things to be developed is pipeline as a service. It's very interesting because there you have the enabler, the social network, that gives an intelligence, a collective intelligence reply to you that maybe the thing you should develop in the future is digital transformation about, okay, you're selling pipelines, but you will sell pipelines as a service in the future. Maybe that's a good subject for R&D, or at least for strategy and change in the company.
Because we are already running out of time, I would skip some more questions we actually thought about and go for some recommendations on how to establish those social initiatives as organizational development backbones, for example. So, I mean, as platforms that enable change within the company, either for business issues or as well for the digital transformation issues. So what are your key recommendations on this? Dörte. Somebody.
I saw a lot of excellent platforms and change programs and blended learning initiatives, and what I found is that the employees left these initiatives with a sparkle in their eyes, and then they returned to their day-to-day business, and they've been very disappointed because there's a clash between all these initiatives and the reality and the daily business. So I would recommend to really remove the structural hurdles within the organization so that the social collaboration and digital initiatives can get on the road. And therefore I think it's necessary to get kind of a cultural godfather on C-level and work closely together with HR and organizational development to really attack these hurdles.
David.
I like the other idea of can we have a cultural godmother instead, though? But that's good. Yeah, I think that, I totally agree with Dörte, that it's got to come from the top. One of the complications we've got is that our business systems that are running our businesses just aren't keeping up with where we're at. And you know, in the old days of ERP systems, we used Excel spreadsheets to fill in the gaps between what the system was supposed to do and what it could do. And at the moment, we're kind of using our enterprise social networks as the equivalent of the spreadsheet was back in those days to fill in the gaps, because our existing business systems actually can't do the things that we want them to do. So we're actually bending enterprise social networks to do all sorts of customer interaction and community and things, because our existing business systems don't do it. Because our existing business systems don't do those things. So we have a kind of like a partial solution to a bigger problem, but we've got to talk about this in terms of business value and creating value. And although an enterprise social network for me is a vital ingredient to pull things together across the organisation, we have to raise the argument up and get people talking about changing the business beyond just thinking in terms of intranets and communities.
Louis-Pierre.
I would add to rethink the way the bonuses and KPIs are computed, because that's a good way. If it's not done properly, like it is in my company, it creates an entrenches silos. And if we want to do transformation, it has to be common. So we have to rethink from the heart how we incentivize the people.
Judith?
I agree with everything what you just said already. I would agree that I think we have to show people how they can gain efficiency personally in their daily work by using these initiatives, and that it's not additional work for them, that there is not this clash between I have to do my job and I'm already booked 200%, and at the same time I'm supposed to also be included in those initiatives. I think this is really to show them what they can get out of it, how they can get more efficient, and then maybe get some time to do other things.
I would agree with Judith. A speaker before said that you had to let usage emerge from using a social network. Yes, indeed, but you have to give a push at the beginning to show to people how they can do, what kind of benefits they can learn on. And on a practical point, to make sure that things go forward, I would say the contrary to the speaker, the first speaker just before. You can consider that you are doing a project, but you have to reach to the point that it's a no return phase. The company cannot go back. You have reached a sufficiently mass of people that they cannot withdraw from the situation.
François?
Yes, and to conclude, as a practitioner, I would love to understand from our dear expert here today in this nice community to how we can really move from a traditional hierarchical model within a large organization to a community-led model. It's something very important for us because we are testing, implementing a lot of communities, but to sustain this level of mobilization of people engaging into these communities, we need to officially do some things within the organization to succeed this big transformation of governance, big transformation of mindsets. So it's not a recipe I would ask to you, but it's some types, some advice how we can succeed this next move. A lot of organizations succeed this social collaboration transformation, but now we need to sustain it in long term and not just to have this peak of curiosity with many SN and at the end people leave because nothing changed, still a big boss, still a big processes. We are looking for smart organization, simplification and community-led things. But I'm just waiting for how to succeed that.
Okay, thank you for the nice discussion. David Terrar, Louis-Pierre Guillaume, Dörte Wittenberg, Judith, François Duroch, and François-Régis. So we have now...